Hey guys, Cyrus Fiene here with the Cyrus Fiene team, and welcome back to our channel. This is a really special edition, not just focusing on Seattle real estate, but real estate located in Vancouver, Canada. So today I'm going to walk you through the 3 projects that we were actually toured and talk about the building that they're actually building right here in downtown Seattle. So being part of only 10 agents that got invited up there, it was a really fun experience, very intimate. We actually got to sit down with the developer himself, Ian Gillespie of Westbank, and have a Q&A, which was really interesting as well. Anyway, let's get into it. So the first project we actually walked through was Oakridge Park. Oakridge Park, as you guessed, is located in the neighborhood of Oakridge, which is perfectly positioned between downtown Vancouver and YVR, Vancouver's International Airport. So one of the most exciting aspects to this tour was the fact that we were touring 3 different projects at 3 different stages. So to start it off, at Oakridge Park, they are in the middle of construction. They actually broke ground 2020, right before the pandemic. This project is so big that they're actually going to be splitting it up into 2 phases. Phase 1 is going to be done in 2026, and the next phase is going to be done in 2028, 2029. So there's over 3,300 residences that are being built. So there are multiple towers, both mixed use and just pure residential apartment buildings for rent and condominiums. Oakridge Park is not there just for the housing. It's actually almost as though they're building a miniature city in the middle of the Oakridge neighborhood. Not only does it have room for over 3,300 condominiums and, as you can imagine, probably over 6,000 residences, but there's going to be an immense amount of office space, over 800,000 square foot of office space there as well. Now, there used to be a mall in this location, and essentially it's just going to be replaced with a bigger, nicer mall. Over 1 million square feet is going to be dedicated to the underground mall. In total, though, there's going to be over 4.5 million square feet of commercial space. So we're talking about public spaces, art venues, performance venues, retail, doctor's offices. Oakridge Park is almost going to be like its own little bubble, its own village almost, if you will, in the neighborhood itself. So as the name alludes, Oakridge Park is going to actually have a park sitting on top of that mall space. It's going to be about 10 acres. There's going to be a running track that goes around. There's going to be performance venues incorporated and integrated into the park. Furthermore, Go Ballet, a world-renowned ballet organization, is going to call Oakridge Park home. So they're going to be having regular performances there, as well as other artists. This is one of the largest residential projects in all of North America. It's up there with Hudson Yards, just like we saw in New York, and it's really creating a brand new neighborhood. The location is perfect, that perfect distance from downtown Vancouver, as well as YVR. So if you're jetting in and out of town, it's a very easy commute. When Oakridge Park is completed, they're expecting over 45 million visitors per year to come and explore and experience Oakridge Park. If you're curious about learning more and interested in the condominiums for sale, of course, shoot me a message and I'm sure we can get you some more information. So the next condominium we toured was Alurn by Kengo Kuma. Now, Kengo Kuma is a famous Japanese architect, and this was his first project in Vancouver. And the Japanese architecture and styling and materials even were used all throughout the development of this condominium. Now, something that I wanted to note, as we toured and sat down with Ian, the developer, as well as his many colleagues, they implored and really impressed upon us that not only are they building condominiums, but they're building pieces of art. And not only are you buying a condo, you're buying a piece of art. This could not be more true with this condo, Alurn. From the moment we stepped out of the car, it felt like as we toured the condo, we were walking inside a living, breathing art piece. This made every moment, every turn we took, it gave us a sense of excitement that you wouldn't get in a traditional kind of very basic standard condominium, in that rectangular shape that we see far too often. What really defines Alurn outside of the Japanese architecture and styling is these two kind of curves and cutouts of the building, now on the front side and the back side, giving it a really fascinating architectural feeling and presence on the skyline. The building just completed. It's 43 stories tall, and there's about 188 units. The units started around $800,000 and they go well above $10 million. We were fortunate to be there at opening night for the condo, so they had a live music performance happening right in front of the lobby. So one thing Westbank does with every single one of their condominiums is they commission a custom piano from Fazioli, an Italian piano maker. These pianos are one-of-a-kind pieces of art and of course musical instruments that sit in each condominium's lobby. Every condominium they build, Fazioli custom builds a special piano for that condo, and that piano sits in the lobby for anyone to play, but to also be incorporated as part of some artistic performances as well. So on opening night of Alberni by Kengo Kuma, we were invited to be a part of the event, and as a result, we got to see an awesome show, an awesome ballet performance put on right in front of the building using that piano. Not only is this condominium a masterpiece and a piece of art, you also get these world-class amenities. The amenities include private inner garden, a wine tasting room, a soundproof music room, of course a gym, an interior swimming pool, and an art gallery. Alberni is located perfectly between the West End and the Cole Harbor neighborhood. Of course, you're just about a 5-minute drive to Stanley Park and everything downtown Vancouver has to offer. We were fortunate to tour a handful of the penthouses and units higher up. We actually got to tour a $14 million unit up on the 41st floor. Not only did we get to experience opening night at Alberni, but we also got private tours of the higher up units near the penthouses that are all well over $10 million. That was something that I personally had never seen before. I've never seen a Japanese soaking tub on a deck in Seattle. Of course, I would love to see that. If any developers are out there, definitely incorporate it. So at the event we attended, it was located right outside the lobby, and that's what they specifically refer to as the inner garden. For the grand opening of the building, they used the inner garden right outside of the lobby to hold this performance and kind of kick off the condominium. So one of my favorite features and most striking art pieces and parts of Alberni was the fact that if you look above the inner garden, you have these wood beams and wood art pieces. Well, that's actually not wood, it's aluminum that's been treated to look like wood. Of course, if you're interested in learning more about Alberni and touring the condominiums, shoot us a message. Last but not least, let's head over to the third project, the Butterfly. So as I mentioned, each condominium that Westbank builds is supposed to feel like an art piece, and the Butterfly is no exception to that. This building towers above everything else around it at 57 stories tall. There are roughly 330 units, and units start at about $1 million and go up from there. What makes the Butterfly so distinct is the fact that you see this wavy curve all around all four sides of it. The idea being, if you look at it straight from above, it looks like a butterfly. Just like Alberni, this was probably one of the most distinctive designs I've ever seen for a condominium. We had a chance to go to the rooftop and actually be at the very, very, very top floor where the penthouse will have its own private pool on that 57th floor. Could you imagine looking over the entire city, sitting in that pool? I couldn't even fathom what that view would look like when it's all built out and said and done. The project officially started in 2018, and they do expect to be completed here in mid to late 2024. The average price per square foot is quite high at over $3,000 price per square foot. This building is definitely going to be one of those where if you say, I live with the Butterfly, people are going to know exactly where you live. And if they don't, you can just probably point to it because you can see it from almost anywhere in Vancouver. The Butterfly will be Vancouver's third tallest building in the entire city. While the building hosts a lot of amenities, the signature amenity is the 50-meter pool that we actually got to check out. Now you have to use your imagination a little bit here, but you can see how incredible this pool is going to be when it's all done. A fun fact, this is only one of 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools in all of Vancouver. So let us know what you think. Which of these 3 would you live in? Oakridge Park, where you have everything at your fingertips, Alurn by Kangakuma, an incredible living experience, or in the Butterfly, the 3rd tallest building in all of Vancouver? Leave a comment below. Now, I know we talked about touring the 3 in Vancouver, BC, built by Westbank, but Westbank is actually building a building right here in downtown Seattle on 3rd and Virginia called First Light. First Light shares a lot of commonalities with those last 3 projects we just saw. The quality, the artistic aspect, and just the design is all there in First Light. So let's briefly talk about First Light. It's on 3rd and Virginia, as I mentioned, and it is going to tower over every other condominium and building in the area at 48 stories tall. Being located in the heart of Belltown, you have incredible views of the Puget Sound, as well as the Space Needle, and all the way over to the east over the Cascades. As I mentioned, it's approximately 48 stories tall, and there's over 450 units in total. This project is actively being sold right now here in Seattle. Unlike a lot of condominiums built by Westbank in Vancouver, where the top floors are dedicated to the penthouse, at First Light, the top few floors are community space. And in this space in particular is the defining feature of First Light, which is on that 47th, 48th floor, which is a cantilever pool outdoors overlooking the entire Puget Sound. This is going to be an iconic amenity, an iconic feature of this building that will really define the Seattle skyline. Not only will there be a 25-meter pool, but on both sides of that pool, we have 2 large hot tubs. So you can only imagine in the summer, spring, fall, winter, you get to use that heated pool and those hot tubs whenever you like. This pool really reminds me of the Marina Bay Sands pool in Singapore. There are a host of other amenities at First Light, like the secret garden on the rooftop, the co-working space on the lower floors, as well as the art installations by local Seattle artist John Hogan. So as we've discussed, art is such a centerpiece to every building design that Westbank does. First Light is no exception. As the name implies, light is the common thread used in this building. So being that light is the common thread in First Light, every single unit has a deck, and the entire exterior of the building is glass. So being that you have floor-to-ceiling windows on the exterior of your unit, it's really incredible because as you open those up, it allows that outdoor space to feel very connected to your indoor square footage. I know that if I lived there, spring, summer, for sure, I would have that slider open 24/7. While we did the construction tour, hard hat tour of First Light, we got as high as we possibly could, which wasn't quite to where the pool is, but we got to see these incredible views from every single side and angle. You really feel like you're on top of the clouds at First Light, overlooking all the buildings around you. So First Light will have a special custom piano built for it as well, made out of glass, so I'm very excited to see that. Outside of the piano, the biggest art piece of the entire building is the light veil that basically goes around the perimeter of the entire bottom part and bottom 7 floors of the building. This glass veil is comprised by hundreds of glass discs that are suspended and are built and designed to reflect and refract the light onto the building. The developer actually said that at certain points of the day, if you see it at the right time, it will actually cast a rainbow onto the building. The building is around 70% sold, so there's still 30% of inventory left. If you're curious in touring the building, I can see if I can get that set up. At the same time, if you want to explore floor plans and talk about pricing, we can do that too. The properties started around $800,000 up to over $5 million. So I have one more question for you. You saw Oakridge Park in Vancouver, you saw Alurn, and you saw the Butterfly. Now you've seen First Light. Which would you live in? So quick side note here, Ian Gillespie, the head of Westbank, his daughter actually designed this outfit I'm wearing right now. House ID is the brand, so if you want to go check them out, I definitely encourage you to do that. Of course, as always guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.